You're walking down a crowded street. Someone collapses 10 feet in front of you. You freeze. Everyone around you freezes too. Congratulations, you've just joined humanity's least useful flash mob. Here's the weird part. The more people standing around that stranger, the less likely any single one of them is to help. Not because people are heartless, because you're all thinking the exact same unhelpful thought at the exact same moment. Someone else will do it. Probably that guy. He looks capable. Psychologists call this the bystander effect, and it's a lot stranger than people just don't care. It starts with a murder in 1964. A woman named Kitty Genovese was attacked outside her apartment in New York. Newspapers claim dozens of neighbors heard her and did nothing. That version got exaggerated over time, but it planted a question in two researchers' heads that nobody had really tested before. Why do crowds sometimes do less than one person would? John Darley and Latane didn't buy the easy explanation that city life makes people cold. So in 1968, they built an experiment that sounds like a psychology thriller. Students sat alone in a room on an intercom, believing other students were listening in from separate rooms. There were no other students, just recordings. Mid-conversation, a voice started what sounded like a seizure, choking, gasping, calling for help. When a student believed they were the only one who could hear it, 85% rushed to help within a minute. Practically superheroes. When they believed 4 other people could also hear it, that dropped to 31%. Same emergency, same terrifying noises, just more imaginary witnesses, and suddenly everyone's very interested in their shoes. Darley and Latane called it diffusion of responsibility. Add more people and the weight of I should do something quietly splits itself into smaller and smaller pieces until it's light enough for everyone to ignore. There's a second ingredient. Your brain checks the room before it decides how to feel, a habit called pluralistic ignorance. If everyone looks calm, you assume everything's fine, which works great, unless everyone else is doing the exact same calculation, staring back at you, equally unbothered, equally wrong. It's a room full of people silently agreeing nothing is happening, entirely because nobody wants to be the first one to react and look dramatic. And that fear of looking dramatic? That's ancient. Get it wrong in front of your tribe 50,000 years ago, and you weren't just embarrassed at the water cooler. You risked getting quietly voted off the savannah, so your brain still treats being wrong in public like a 5-alarm threat, even when the actual emergency is happening 3 feet away. Here's the twist. In 2011, researcher Peter Fisher reviewed decades of these studies and found the effect nearly disappears when danger is completely obvious, like an actual physical assault. People act fast, crowd or no crowd. The freeze mostly shows up in gray areas when nobody's fully sure what they're looking at. Turns out confusion, not crowd size, is the real villain here. So what do you do with any of this besides feel slightly betrayed by your own brain? There's one trick that consistently works. Get specific. Don't shout, "Somebody help." Point at one person. Look them in the eye. Say, "You in the blue jacket, call an ambulance." The second you name one person, the whole diffusion trick collapses because now there's nowhere left for the responsibility to hide. And if you're ever the frozen one, ask yourself one blunt question. If I were the only person here, what would I do right now? Then just do that. It's suspiciously effective for something so simple. Next time you're scrolling past someone in distress online thinking surely someone in the comments will report it, that's the same ancient program running on new hardware. The crowd's just bigger now, which, according to Darley and Latane, makes the freeze even easier. So picture it again. You're walking down that crowded street. Someone collapses in front of you. This time, you don't check what everyone else is doing. You point, you pick one face. And for a second, the crowd disappears. And it's just you, deciding what kind of person you actually are. That's the bystander effect. Not proof you're a bad person, just proof your brain's still running on Savannah-era software with way too many browser tabs open. If your brain finds this stuff as weird as mine does, subscribe for more.